Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with saxophonist Martin Stender and percussionist Victor Dybbroe of the Copenhagen-based Jazz Band Girls in Airports. They open up about their new 2023 album, How It Is Now, and a life well lived as a band in the music. Based in Copenhagen, they are one of the very few young Danish indie jazz bands that have established themselves internationally. The band has toured in countries such as the United States, China, Brazil, and most of Europe. They have been described as a unique blend of Nordic jazz, lyricism, indie rock influences, and sounds from around the world. We cover their existence and the future. Enjoy the story. If it hadn't already been done before, I would say somebody should come up with a band called Girls in Airports. It's a great name. I mean, if I saw that on paper, I would say that has to be a band name.
What do you like about it?
It just has a great ring to it. I mean, Girls in Airports, it could be girls sipping coffee. Whenever you start throwing that thing around where it's girls in different places, especially in an airport, which is such a great place on the planet, it just makes sense.
Thanks.
Gentlemen, thank you for taking a minute out. Before we begin here, I want to make sure that I get everyone's name and where you're coming out of.
My name is Martin Stender, and I'm the saxophonist in the band, and Victor Dybbroe is joining us also. He's the percussionist in the band.
Thank you for reaching out to the program. I really appreciate it. I really dig the music, and I'm looking forward to getting into it. Before we begin here, I want to know, the world of jazz and musicians were really turned upside down with COVID. Now that the world's waking up, live shows are happening. How did you guys survive COVID over the last 3 years?
I would say through creativity, right, Martin?
Yeah.
I think what sort of happened was that we just decided to create a lot together, because we love to play music and love to create music, and that's what we do. So we sort of just speeded up the process of creating. Actually, I don't think we have ever been that creating that much as during the COVID pandemic period.
Well, and obviously this album is an outgrowth of that time period, I would assume?
Yes, I think I even managed to transfer COVID to two of the other band members just before going to the studio.
Literally and figuratively. So, talk about the new album. Was this recorded over the pandemic period?
It was sort of at the end of it, but yeah, definitely made during those years.
Was it influenced by what you were going through, or was there an original conception or original idea prior to it? What forces in your life made you make this from a creative standpoint?
It isn't that conscious, the process of writing music for us. I think we just dive into it and see, we like the titles are something we attach to the music in the end, and we just it's really hard to sum up what it's about, and that sort of it's just, I guess, everything in our lives, where we are with our families, and what kind of music we're listening to, and all lots of stuff, and I guess the world situation as well, blending in together. For us, it was we had a new lineup as the band. We're now a quartet, where we've been a quintet for 5 years. No, for 10 years, a quintet. So that was a big new thing for us, that we had this new band sound we were exploring. So that was a bit, how can we make this an advantage in the music somehow, and not a problem? That was a big part of what we were thinking about.
Let's say you come to Kansas City and perform this album, and you have to sell this to get people to watch the show. How would you explain a live show presenting this album in a venue in Kansas City?
Victor, you're a great salesperson.
I don't know. It's a good question. I would say that it's you don't need to be a jazz expert or a music expert in any sense to listen to the music or to get what we are doing. I think what we're trying to do and what we are aiming for is just to make sound that moves people. And that could either be, sound or rhythms that you would like to move your body to or dance to, or just some feelings that run through your mind and your body.
How did the band get together? How long have you guys been together? How did this all come together, and how does it work?
I formed the group many years. I think it's 12 years ago, something like that. When I was a student, we were all studying at the Rhythmic Conservatory in Copenhagen, and I just picked these great guys. That was I was living with the piano player, but the other guys was. I met them through this project, more or less. How does it work? It's a collective. We work together around creating the music. I usually bring a small idea for a new piece of music, but then we develop that together. So everybody contributes on all levels.
Obviously, as a band, there's influences that go into you all individually and collectively. Who would you say are pretty big influences from the world of recorded music for you guys? Who are inspirations for you and your sound and as musicians?
Wow, that's a big question and a good question. I would. I don't know. It changes all the time, I would say. Like in the early albums, we were pretty influenced by music from both from like John Coltrane and all that tradition, but also Moroccan folkloric music and a lot of Asian folklore, but now I think it's much more varied, and it's both like Kendrick Lamar and I would also say Don Cherry and Ornette Coleman, and it's a big mix, a big mixture. Wouldn't you say, Martin?
Yeah. I think we try not to limit us to specific genres at all. Really, to be as open as we are able to be, to play any kind of music that we're able to. At the moment, we're working. Our next project is going to be involving a string quartet, and we also did a project with a big band a few years ago, which was much more in the jazz world. It's our ambition to be this very open, genre-defying band.
I think that's the thing that's so good about you guys, is that as we look at the modern evolution of jazz, there's a lot of bands out there that are really, you can't really label exactly what they do. They fall within different classifications. I mean, you have indie rock, you have jazz, you have all these things coming together. How did all of this happen? How did you arrive at your sound?
I guess it just happened. It has to do with having a broad taste and just going with that, I guess. I imagine most people have a very broad musical taste, but for some reason you get stuck in one genre because that's what you. And I think we try to keep learning. Also, we studied music for many years in a very open way, and also we have these members that are quite different. They have different roots within the group. I think Victor, our percussionist here in the interview, you studied a lot of music from all over the world, folkloric stuff. Yeah. And I guess I'm a saxophonist. I'm more rooted in the jazz tradition and played like in the. And we try to use that.
Obviously, you've been at this as a group, and it works. So tell me why. What is it about the chemistry of this band that works so well?
I would say maybe this can be, in a way, it can be an answer to this, and maybe your earlier question that I think from when I joined the band, when you've been playing for half a year or something, right, Martin? I really was interested in what you were doing in that group, because it was really obvious early on that it was not about which kind of music you wanted to play or how you would do it. It was more like there is these melodies and these songs that we feel are really strong, and we just tried collectively to make something out of it. And I think that way of looking at music or working with music is really appealed to me. And I think that's also what is strong about this group, that it has not that much to do with the individuals in the band. It's not important what I play or what I don't play. The important thing the importance of it all is that we try to make something beautiful together, and who of the band members does the icing on the cake or the last, important sparkle isn't that important. It's just the chemistry of the four of us doing something together in a way that we feel has a strong feeling or something. I think that's what it's about.
I think that's well put, and also I was thinking also that we really care about each other, we've always really cared about each other. I think and that's a big part of the secret behind having a strong group, that we are ambitious, but at the same time we're not too ambitious. If somebody had a kid and they want to be a really good dad, that's okay. And if somebody wants to do a solo project, that's also totally okay, totally fine with us. That we care about all the group members' well-being.
So, gentlemen, if anyone out there wants to pick up the album, where is the best place for them to get it and to find out more about the band and any live shows coming up?
Bandcamp, CD Baby, your local record distributor, probably.
Okay, what about live shows? Are you guys got anything scheduled? Anything that people can look into?
We haven't got anything lined up in the States. No. We perform, but we're doing a lot of release concerts right now in Europe, especially Denmark.
If people are listening around the world, where do they go to find out about live shows?
Instagram, Facebook.
Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you for opening up. Thanks for taking time out for the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Denmark, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to both Martin and Victor for their time, energy, and cool. If you want to hear more Neon Jazz interviews, you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Subscribe to us at YouTube, and for everything Neon Jazz, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.